What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Vodinh poker vlog. We are going to be doing another session at 52 Social Poker. What better way to digest the Christmas holiday food than with another session of poker? Let's get into it. I hope you guys had a good Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. But now it's time for some poker. Let's go. So we go ahead and sit down with $740. Look down at our first hand, which is 52 suited. In the big blind, the button straddles on. Small blind folds, we limp it. We're going to play the 52 for the vlog one time. Low jack limps as well, and the button checks. Flop comes 4-4-4, rainbow, of course. I check, the low jack bets 15, the button calls, and we fold. Sadly, we could not win the 5 deuce for the vlog. On to the next one. So sitting down at this table, let's go ahead and paint some descriptions for our villains on the table. There's a short stack in seat 1 as well as seat 8. Seat 8 plays kind of loose. There's also a player 2 to our right. Basically, when we're in the big blind, he's in the button, and he plays very aggressive. I played with him before. He's going to be the villain this upcoming hand. Moving on to the hand, we have 7-8 of diamonds in the small blind. The +1 makes it $8. Low jack, cutoff, button, all call. I decide to 3-bet this hand, suited connectors to 35, trying to isolate. The big blind folds, and what do you know, in Texas, the +1, the low jack, and the cutoff, and the button all call. So we are going 5 ways to flop, which comes 8-6-6 rainbow. Not too bad of a flop for us. We have a pair, runners to the straight draw, as well as runners to the flush draw. I continue for $100, trying to just take down all this dead money. This board is really favorable to our range. If someone has a 6, then they got it. The +1, the low jack fold, the cutoff calls, and the button folds. Turn to ace of diamonds, so now we have turn equity to the flush draw. I check it, the cutoff bets $120. If he floated with an ace, then so be it. We make the call. The river is a 7 of spades. It doesn't really change our hand too much. We have showdown value still. I'm looking to check call anything if he bets. I check it, and the cutoff checks, and our 7-8 is good. Just going to take this time to remind everyone that if you don't have access to live poker and you have that itch to play poker again, I have a Poker Bros Club. If you need help setting up, there are instructions in the description box below. Go ahead and follow them. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and I can help you get started playing online again and make some money. So after that hand, I did lose a hand, ace-5 offsuit against him, where I lost $50. The pre-flop was 20. I called in the cutoff. Flop was 7-5-3, 2 spades in the club. He c-bet 30. I called. Turn was a 4 of clubs. It went check-check. River was 8 of spades, and he bet $80, and I folded. Against these aggressive players, you can always tighten your range and just wait for a spot where it's really easy to play it straightforward. But you can also play high risk, high reward, high variance, where you can call them light in spots, just like with the 7-8 hand that I had against him. As long as you know that certain hands in their range shouldn't hit the texture of the board, you just have to know the board textures as well as the player themselves, whether they have a tendency to bluff in certain spots. And you also have to be ready to not be good in spots where they might have the combo, like he might have an ace-x in that 7-8 of diamonds hand, but we want those spots against them and against an aggro player where we can get value calling down light with a pair of 8s like in that previous hand. So that same aggro player tried to bluff with ace-king offsuit with no spade on a queen 10, 9, 2, 4, 3 spades, diamond heart board, and lost about a $600 pot to the villain in the hand. In this hand, we have ace-jack offsuit and an undergun +1. We make it $20, and only that aggro player in the big blind calls. The flop comes ace-queen 5, 3 clubs. Pretty decent flop for us. I mean, I guess there could be less clubs and we'd be much happier, but the big blind checks. We're going to c-bet this board with our ace, $30, and the big blind calls. The turn is now the 8 of clubs, not a good card for us. When they check it, we decide to check back. The river is 8 of hearts. We now have aces and 8s with the queen kicker. The big blind checks, and of course we have showdown value at this point, so we check. And the big blind shows ace-4 of hearts, so we end up chopping this pot. We could have made value, of course, if there were no clubs, and obviously if the board didn't pair, but it is what it is, and we will get paid in these future spots against this certain type of player. In this hand, we are in the small blind with 4-5 of spades, suited connected hand. The +1 limps, the cutoff makes it $25. The button and myself call. This is a pretty disguised hand if we somehow hit a flush or a straight. The big blind folds and the +1 calls. The flop comes 3-6 jack, 2 clubs and a spade. Pretty good flop for us. We're open-ended. I'm going to look to check raise the spot, so I check out of position. The +1 goes all in for $18. The cutoff then re-raises to 58, taking my move. The button then jams all in for $220 effective. We obviously can't make this call, but I included this hand not to show that I just punted off $25 pre-flop, but also to show how active my table is and how kind of loose, crazy they're playing. The cutoff makes a call, so we're going to go to a run out, and I'll go ahead and let you guys watch it.
I'm probably dead now.
Side part.
He had the clubs wrong.
So as you guys saw, the guy jammed with Jack 10 suited on the flop when he made the pair of jacks. Pretty light jam, to be honest, when someone raises, but that's how the table's been playing. In this hand, we're in the hijack with big lick suited. I included this one for the vlog, of course. Entertainment purposes only. Do not play this hand. +1 limps, I limp, button makes it $15, small blind calls, big blind folds, and the undergun +1 and myself call. Flop comes 6, deuce, 8, 2 diamonds and a club. At least we flop a pair with big lick. Small blind +1 and myself check. The button continues for $20. Small blind +1 fold, and I make the call with the middle pair with backdoor equity to the straight. Turn to ace of spades, I check it. The button bets $25. I'm not giving up that easily yet for 25 into 88, so I decide to call. River's to 8 of spades, we just have showdown value at this point. I check it, the button checks and shows pocket kings. Nice hand. That's all the entertainment you guys get. No more playing stupid hands for you guys. In this hand we have pocket queens and the low jack. Under the gun limps it. We make it $20. Hijack calls, the small blind, big blind fold, and the under the gun calls. So 3 ways to flop, which comes 7, 5, deuce, 2 diamonds and heart. Under the gun checks. I continue for $40. The hijack calls with about $120 behind, and the under the gun folds. Turns a 10 of heart, so now there's diamond draws, heart draws, as well as straight draws. We're just going to go ahead and jam them for $120 effective, and the hijack fold. So my jam here could be wrong, but my line of reasoning is that he should only have sets in this spot or flush draw, straight draw combos. 7s, 5s, deuces, and even 10s are his set combos, of course, and he should have more diamond draws or straight draw combos. We want to charge him the max to get there on the river to see a river card, and if otherwise, we're losing $120 regardless with his sets. So let's go ahead and get the money in on the turn. If you guys disagree, go ahead and let me know in the comments. This one's just a quick video. We have ace deuce of spades in the big blind, button straddles on, small blind limps, we make it $36. Low jack goes all in for $55. The button, small blind fold, we make the call, of course. The run out goes king, jack 8, jack 9 run out, and we chop. He has ace 5 of clubs. Next hand we have ace king of diamonds on the small blind, the low jack, the cutoff, the button, limp it. We make it $20. Low jack calls, the cutoff and button fold. We go heads up to a flop, which comes 4, king, deuce, 2 spades and a club. We down bet for $15 in this spot. The low jack calls, turns a 9 of spades, so the spade draws there now. We bet $30 into $80 pot. Low jack calls with 60 effective behind. We're obviously going to look to jam on any safe card on the river. The river's the 8 of clubs, so we're going to jam, of course. We put them all in for 60. The low jack calls, and our ace king suited is good. In this next one, we're in the low jack with ace 5 offsuit. The button straddles on, although they are type players, so this is a free $6 we can steal if they don't have a hand. Small blind limps it, undergun +1 limps it. We make it $26 trying to take down dead money. The button folds, and the small blind and +1 call. Flop comes 10, 3, deuce, rainbow, so at least we flop a gutter ball with our ace high. Small blind and +1 check it. We're going to c-bet with our equity, and we bet $45 in the spot, and the small blind and +1 fold. In this next hand, we look down at pocket aces in the big blind. The button straddle is on, being that aggro player. We lead for $25, the under the gun calls, and the button calls. 3 ways to flop, which comes 6, 4, 5, 2 hearts in a club. We're going to c-bet this board, $50. The under the gun folds, and then the button raises us to $120. Usually I'd be worried, but this player's done this in the past, not specifically this session, but he's done this before multiple times where he thinks he can just bully people off the pot as well as in position. He has about $220 to $250 behind, so if he has a 2-pair combo or a set, I'm just going to get it in. This board is super wet. There's a bunch of bad turn cards, hearts, other 4 to the straight combos. So we want to just charge the maximum for those specific hands. If he has a set or 2 pair, it's probably going to go in anyways. So we put them all in for his 223 effective behind, 343 effective. He makes the call, and I'll let you guys see the run out and the results. So as you can see, once we flip over our hand, he mucks his cards, meaning we are good. We tip the dealer, and yeah, bad turn card, but apparently he didn't have a heart draw. Maybe he had the straight draw. Who knows? We're happy to take down a big pot. In this one, we're against a viewer of the vlog. Craig, shout out to you. We have our favorite hand, King 9 of spades, under the gun. We decide to limp it. Craig makes it $20, under the gun +1. The button calls, small blind, big blind fold, and I make the call. Flop comes 9, 7, 7, 2 hearts and a club. I decide to donk bet for $40 when it checks to me. The +1, Craig, raises to $100. After the button folds, I have a pretty clear cut fold here. This is either an overpair or a 7x hand that he doesn't want to see any more hearts, so we make the easy laydown, and Craig's nice enough to show us pocket kings. Shout out to you, Craig, and thank you for continuing to support the channel. After that embarrassing defeat, we have 7-8 of diamonds on the button. Under the gun limps it, the cutoff makes it $12. We make the call with our suited connectors in position, and the under the gun calls as well. 3 ways to flop, which comes 5, ace, 3, 2 diamonds and a heart. Pretty decent flop for not flopping a pair. Under the gun checks, cutoff bets $10. We make the call with our diamond draw, and the cutoff calls as well. Turns the king of spades, we don't hit obviously. The under the gun checks, and the cutoff now checks. We could obviously bet trying to take down this pot and take it down with our 8 high, but I elect to check back because there's 2 people. We could be just getting trapped here, so I check. The river's the jack of hearts. It checks around again. I elect to check with 8 high. We could obviously bluff, of course, but I'm not in the mood to bluff and get out of line right now, so let's just see what they have. Under the gun says 7 high, and cutoff says pocket 9, so they're good. In this next hand, we're in the small blind with Snowman, otherwise known as pocket 8s. The under the gun, the +1, the low jack, limp. I make it $30. I'm trying to isolate. I know you could limp with your pockets or even size down, but I'm going to try to isolate or take down the dead money. The big blind folds, the under the gun, the +1 call, and the low jack fold. So we're able to get rid of 2 people, and we're going 3 ways to flop, which comes deuce, jack, queen, 2 spades and a club. Not the greatest board for us. We could obviously c-bet on this board. I elect to check it, and the other 2 players check behind. Turn is now the 9 of clubs, so we have a gutter ball to the bottom end of the straight. I'm going to check again. We're probably beat against other players, and we don't need to go crazy and get out of line, so I check, and the other 2 players check behind. River's the king of spades. We are for sure beat now. There's no way we can go for value or try to bluff, so I check, and the other 2 players check as well. I show my 8s, and the undergun shows ace-king offsuit, which is good to take down the pot. You guys could also argue that and say that, oh, Andrew, you punted off $30 in this spot. But in Texas, it's really easy to make that money back. You can obviously raise pre-flop, get 2 callers, c-bet, and then take down that money. So we're not too worried. Let's just move on and try to take down another pot. In this next hand, we have 10-9 of hearts on the big blind. The button straddle is on. We're 6-handed right now. I like to limp it. The hijack limps, cutoff limps, and the button checks our option. Flop comes 10, ace 4, spade, and 2 hearts. Pretty good flop for us. We flop middle pair with the heart draw. I check, looking to check raise the spot, but sadly enough the hijack, cutoff, and button check, foiling my plans. Turn to ace of spades. Our 10 is probably good now. I'm going to go for thin value. If not, it's a semi-bluff at the least. So I bet $20 leading out into the pot, and all players fold. Next hand, we have pocket 4s under the gun. Oh, I wish they were aces. I open for $15 out of position. The +1 calls, the button calls, and the small blind, big blind fold. 3 ways to flop, which comes 10, 9, deuce, 2 hearts, and a spade. I don't think this should hit these specific players' ranges, so we're going to c-bet here. We c-bet $25, and both players fold. Easy pot to take down. Moving on, we look down at aces. Oh no, wait, those are just pocket 4s again. We're on the button straddle. The small blind, big blind limp, and the cutoff limps. We make it $31, trying to take down the dead money in position. Small blind calls, big blind folds, and the cutoff calls. So we go 3 ways to flop, which comes 9-8-8 rainbow. Not too bad of a flop for us. It shouldn't hit their ranges too much, so our fours most likely should be good. When the small blind and cutoff check to us, we're going to c-bet for $35. We don't have to size up too big. This bet is mainly targeting king highs, queen highs, and also ace highs. Our pocket fours are most likely good, so a $35 bet should work. The small blind folds and the cutoff calls. The turn is a 6 of diamonds, and that is a diamond draw as well as the straight draw. When the cutoff checks us, I think we just have showdown value now. We have to be worried about his check call on the flop, so we check it back. The river's the 10 of spades. The cutoff tanks for a while, looking at his chips, and then makes the check. We obviously have showdown value, so we're going to check back. If he did bet, I would probably call in this spot. There's nothing that should really hit his range. If he has an 8, he has an 8. If he has a 7, he has a 7. He shows king, queen offsuit, and our fours are good. So like I said, I would make the reluctant call on the river if he did bet. There's just too many bluffs where he could float an ace high, king high hand, and there shouldn't be too many 7s or 8s in his hand ranges, calling the 31 preflop. Oh boy, Brad Owen, this one's for you. Pocket jiggities in the big blind. The button shot is on. Small blind limps, we make it $31. The button folds and the small blind calls. Flop comes 7-4 deuce rainbow. The small blind checks us. We're going to c-bet obviously with our overpair for $35. And the small blind tanks for a while before making the fold. Jiggities. Oh, how I hate them. After looking down at jiggities, we look down at another premium Jack 5 offsuit. The button shadow is on, and we are on the button shadow. The low jack limps it. We check it back. Heads up to a flop, which comes queen, 9, 10, rainbow. We flop open-ended. It's the best we could do with this crappy hand. Low jack makes it $16. That's a pot-sized bet. We obviously have to make the call. We could have any 2 cards in this spot. Turn binks us the 8 of hearts, so now we have the straight. Low jack bets $50, another pot-sized bet, and we have to make the call. River's the deuce of spades. A low jack checks weirdly enough. I would be in nit, as I say, if I didn't go for thin value here. So I bet $60. He makes a min raise to 120. We snap and say, if you have king jack, sir, you got it. The low jack shows ace jack of clubs, and we chop this pot. Moving on, our next hand is ace 5 of spades in the under the gun +1. The under the gun opens for $15. We make the call. The cutoff and the button also make the call, and the small blind, big blind fold. 4 ways to flop, which comes ace 5 deuce rainbow. We flop aces up. Under the gun c-bets for $40. We elected to raise in this spot with 2 players behind. If they have the set, they have the set. If they have an ace king, ace queen hand, the money's most likely going to go in. So we do raise with the 2 players behind. We block aces and 5s. Aces would 3-bet pre-flop, so that's probably out of the question. 5s are probably out of the question. If they have a set, it's probably deuces. The cutoff and button fold. Under the gun tanks a while before folding themselves. So we're able to scoop down a lot of dead money in the pot. The funny thing is the cutoff said that he folded ace queen after tanking for a while. And the under the gun also had ace queen and was thinking about jamming when it got back to him after our raise. So we were looking for the intended result of the jam. Because he only had 300 behind, with our raise to 130, it sizes it perfectly to where he even thinks about that. Sadly enough, the results were that he folded though, so on to the next one. Moving on, in our next hand, we have queen jack offsuit in the small blind. The low jack limps, the hijack makes it $15. We make the call. The big blind calls and the low jack calls. 4 ways to a flop, which comes ace, 8, 7, 2 hearts and a spade. There's no reason to bet this board. We have no equity. So we check and everyone checks following behind. Turns to ace of clubs. I check, the big blind checks, and the low jack checks. The hijack decides to bet for $20 and everyone folds. On to the next one. You know I love playing suited connectors. In this hand we're in the cutoff and we look down at 8, 9 of diamonds. The under the gun +1 and low jack limp it. We raise it up to $20. Small blind, big blind fold, and the under the gun +1 and low jack call. 3 ways to flop, which comes 10, jack 5, 3 spades. So we're flop open-ended, even though we don't have any spades. The +1 actually donk bets for $35. Low jack folds. We make the call. It's pretty hard to flop a flush, and we have equity to the straight. Turns to 6 of clubs. The +1 bets $30 for 30 into 134. I don't think we can go anywhere just yet. The river's the ace of diamonds, so obviously miss. And when the +1 bets $100, we make the easy fold. Last hand for the vlog, we have king 10 offsuit and the low jack. I open for $15. The hijack makes it $40 with only $35 behind. When it folds back to me, I elect to fold. We can't effectively call an all-in with king 10 offsuit for $75, so we save our $60 and just lose 15 and end the session there.
I was just there with a drink. With your left hand?
Yes, sir.
Easier than me. Alright, so we got 5,000, 11, 15, 1550, 1565, 1566.
We are now leaving 52 Social Poker after our 3-hour session. In the game for 740 with the tip chips, out of the game for 1566. Pretty good day. It's not hard when you play into an aggro player and they're just shipping you the money. So everything's pretty straightforward. We didn't get out of line or any spots. You call with equity, you bet with equity. When you get there, you go for value. Same old, same old. If someone has the hand, they have it. Sometimes you just have to make the call. But luckily they didn't have anything when we had aces and, jacks or whatever it was. So good session. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.